Hello, dear founder. Welcome back to the channel. Nice to have you here today. And I would like to share you a little story and lesson that I recently encountered when I moved back to the Netherlands. For most of you who already knew, I had lived in Spain for the past 5 months or so. I had moved from the Netherlands to Spain in, I think, early June. But just before I left for Spain, I also moved back from my old hometown from Breda to Den Bosch to live with my girlfriend. And before in Breda, I had started doing kickboxing, so martial arts, for about 3 to 3.5 years. It was a very nice gym. There were good people. I did it about like 5 or 6 times a week, like very consistently. And because the gym was so big, there was a lot of different styles that the gym was allowed to do. Nobody really knew each other. Like sometimes people said hi, but basically you really felt like a number. They were also doing all kinds of marketing. They had a lot of trouble getting members in, and even though you had some connection with people, it was not as if you really knew each other or people actually cared for you. So when I moved to Den Bosch afterwards, the first things that I had to do was obviously find a new martial arts gym. Now, I looked up in Google and it was a really nice one, but the thing is, it all had 5-star reviews, and I think it had like a few hundred reviews, all 5-star. Now, typically, from business perspective, only 5 stars is a somewhat like a yellow red flag, right? Because what product, what service has all 5 stars? Like, I could not really believe it. At the same time, I didn't really want to hesitate and like keep being indecisive. So I just booked a trial lesson, went to the gym. Really nice, nice people, nice trainers. But the thing was, it was quite small. The equipment was really old. It was like a very old school gym, and it was like too small for my liking, especially when my old gym was super new. Like everything was brand new because they moved to a new location. It was also much smaller. So I thought, how can this be all 5 stars, right? Especially when this gym had over 1,000 members. So I really could not believe what I was seeing. But the thing was, when I entered that gym on that day, so the new gym, the trainers, they greeted me by my name. But what was interesting, in all the weeks, and I trained there about 6 weeks after, until I moved for Spain, the 6 week after, every time when I entered and left the gym, all the trainers greeted me by my name. So, hello Misha, goodbye Misha, thanks for the training Misha. And first I thought, I don't know, this might be some trick to make new members feel at home. Maybe I was the only one in that period who joined. Of course they would know my name. I was, common sense. I was a bit skeptical. So then I started to ask the other members around, like, are they always so nice? Do they know everyone by the name? And to my surprise, literally everyone said exactly the same thing. Yeah, they pretty much know everyone by their name. And then when I started to pay attention, every time when someone entered the gym or started to talk with them, they all remember the name. They're always talking and using their first name. So I was obviously quite astonished. Still, I was a bit skeptical. Anyway, just before I left for Spain, I think I trained there about 5 or 6 weeks. I kindly thanked all the trainers and said, if I even come back by the end of this year, I would definitely come back to your gym because I really liked it. They said, okay, nice, enjoy your time in Spain. So fast forward 5, 6 months later, it is November, I come back to the gym. The first thing I hear when I enter the gym, welcome back, Misha. Like, what the hell? I remember that back then I was pretty new. They didn't even know my name or who I was. And now 5 or 6 months after, when I entered the gym, the trainer saying, welcome back, Misha, after all this time, like, that just really blew out my mind. Like, I could not believe that these people actually care for their members. I don't know how they do it, but what they do, it's really magical. So then I realized two things. If you make things personal, you stand out, right? Not spicing things up, making more slick, more professional. If you make things personal, especially in today's age, you're already standing out much more. The second is, the quality of your life really depends on the quality of your relationships. If you are more present with the people, if you actually listen to people, if you actually care and are interested in what people have to say, you already are completely different. So what I often see is, couples at the restaurant sitting on their phones, talking to each other, not really being present or there for each other, just, being there. to friends or whatever, just moving through the motions, not really aware of what is happening around them. People are always on their phones, always listening music with themselves, not really paying attention when you're crossing faces on the street. Especially today, where things have changed, where people are more digitally connected while personally disconnected, it becomes more and more important to really start to, build relationships that last forever, at least for a long time. Because, the longer we wait and the more years will pass, the more the real connections and friendships and relationships all matter. And the thing is, if everyone is getting artificial, if every message is shallow, every video is over edited, every story is, spiced up, every image is like edited to its best, right? What is personal? What is there left to be personal? Nobody is, at some point everything will just be the same. Nobody will stand out, and nobody will even believe you, because everything you say is just, more fluff, and more fluff. So, big lesson, what I realized is, if you really want to make things personal, just be interested. And actually, the next time when you're encountering a conversation with someone, instead of thinking of what to say next, or what to write on your phone, or being distracted with other things that are happening around you, just stay focused. Try to look them in the eye. Try to smile. Try to use their first name. And you will be impressed by how much they are interested in you, just because you're different and interested in them. So with today's note, I would like to conclude. If you want to read more about this, I expand it in my weekly newsletter, where I share my lessons, my daily reviews, my weekly reflections with other founders like you, in order to help myself, but also to hopefully inspire some of you out there as well. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter if you really want to, and otherwise I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and peace.